Well, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Papa's Workshops. These are for Adam, Brady, Luke, and Brenna, and all those others that like seeing an old man make sawdust. And that's my assistant. We should probably hear from her, or my apprentice. She hasn't worked up her way to assistant yet. There's my Rosie. What you doing, girl? Would you like a little treat? Ready for a treat? Can you shake? That's a girl. There you go. All right, let's get to work. All right, in this episode, we're going to finish the brackets. The brackets that, look at the picture here. These brackets, we're going to finish carving those, and then we'll be ready to assemble the base. So let's get to work. All right, I think the next thing I'm going to do is these recesses on the front. When I carve the leaf, the parts of it are going to be pretty fragile, so I'm going to do that last. So the first thing we have to do on this is mark where that's going to be, and this is how I'm marking it. I've got the right stack of pieces, and I'm just tracing this around. And then just flip it over for the other side. And so now this area in between gets lowered. So I'm going to do that on all four, and then we can start. All right, we're going to start lowering these. I'm going to use, this is end grain from about here to there. So I'm going to soften it with some alcohol. This works really good for planing end grain. But and then we'll just take the appropriate chisel, and we're just going to the alcohol makes it a little harder to see the line, but it makes it easier to get a smooth cut. So then we just need to trim up the edge a little bit. So we'll do that, and then we'll flip it and do the same thing on the other side, and then the middle, which is with the grain, we can do just by hand. All right, so now we're going to start carving the actual leaves on here. So I've marked out the ribs, I guess what you'd call them. It's all right, Rosie. You'll get your turn. So I've marked those all out, and I've got these hash marks so that I got all four brackets the same curve. So what I'm going to do in this step is take a V-tool and outline those, and then lower the spaces in between. Just get it pretty well the ribs shaped, and not worry so much about the space between it, because I've got more things that'll be done. But I want to do it that much on all four of these brackets. before we get started. So I made a, since that doesn't really work in the carving vise to hold it straight or flat, I need to be able to turn it. So I made this little base that I can stick in there like that. And now I can put it in the vise here and turn it however I need to work on it. So like I said, I'm going to start by using the V tool, and then we'll go from there. All right, this was the first pass, so I'll just keep doing that. And you see I'm wide of the line. As I get down a little bit lower, then I'll start refining the actual shape. What I want to do is get each one of these three on each side ribs to be about 1/16 of an inch high or proud from the rest of it. Then once we got them all kind of parallel, to each other, and good, then we'll kind of round over the edges and make it look like it's a tube. That's what we're after. So it's just a matter of doing the same thing, going back over it with the V tool, shave off the excess. I got to do that about 3 times to get down about that 1/16 of an inch. And then we get those, then we'll refine these eyelets up to where this red line is. So they got to cut that much more out of that and make these, kind of clean that all up in there. So I guess when we get to that point, I'll film that, but the rest of this is going to be a repeat of what we just saw. All right, we got the ribs or stems done on all 4. So now we're ready to finish out the leaves here at the bottom. I need to dress those up a little bit more. And then we're going to put the ribs with the center part of it in there, each one of these, and add the, I don't know what you call those. I'm not a... So we got to add these little guys in here and define all these leaf parts. We'll do that on all 4, and then we'll be ready to just do a final take on all of these. So let's get to it. All right, there's kind of just sitting there what it's going to look like. So we got all 4 of the brackets done. And, so I'm going to go over the brackets one more time. I still got this area that's been recessed. I got to clean that up. And I've been using scrapers and some files, but I'm at the point where some of that's going to take some sandpaper. So I wanted to finish all the carving. You don't want to be carving after you've used sandpaper, because some of the grit gets stuck in the wood and then that dulls your tool. So, and a master carver would hate me for even suggesting using sandpaper, or probably even the scrapers, but I'm not a master carver. I have to go back over some of it with some sandpaper, especially this recessed areas. But what we're gonna do is to do the bent laminations for the apron. So this is the form. It's just MDF. I had this built the last time I built a table this size. So then it's just got I put a coat of shellac to seal it, and then it's got paste wax on it so nothing will stick to it. And then this is the top piece that we'll use to clamp. So I need to make 4 sections. So they have to be, the laminations need to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to need 8 of them, or no, 6 of them. All right, 6/8 is 3/4. I want a 3/4 thick apron. And so I've got some blanks that I cut here. This is rough cherry, so it's about 1 inch thick. So we need to take each one of these and run one face through the joiner, then get the 2 edges 90 in parallel. So run one edge on the joiner after the face, then run it through the table saw, and then we'll start slicing them on the bandsaw, and then take the thicker piece, run that face through the joiner, and then repeat. And then the final sizing we'll do with a drum sander. So got a little bit of work to do, but we'll do that. So the bent laminations will have to glue, or the glue will have to dry for a couple days. So it's going to take a few passes. So in between that, we'll finish up doing the handwork on the brackets. And then I think I'm going to put the finish on this before I glue it all up, because it's going to be hard to get up and in there. So the finish, we're going to use an aniline dye to get it darker right off the bat, and then shellac. So we'd have to tape off the mortises and such, and get that done. So a lot of work to do. My apprentice is not exactly helping. Oh, goodness. All right, I got my boards all prepped. They're 4 inches wide, which is the apron's going to be 3 3/4, so I got a little bit to trim off once they are glued up. And I've marked them each with the triangle so that I can get the strips back in the same order if I need to. Really, all that's going to show is the outermost one. And I want to try to get a consistent grain pattern going around the whole apron. So I've got these are from all these are from the same board, but they're all kind of where I was going to get mostly straight grain. And then I got 2 spares. I'm hoping I can get 5. But some of the boards were a little twisted, so I had to plane off or joint off quite a bit. And then I just ran them through the planer just to get it more or less parallel, not all the way down, but so I had a good idea. So maybe I can only get 4 out of some of these. We'll see. But I've got 2 extras. And then I got a practice piece that I glued up from scraps of cutting these that I used to make sure I got the bandsaw set up right and can get a consistent, as narrow, as close to 1/8 as I can without going under, kind of a thing. So with that, I guess we're just going to get started. All right, I got them all cut up into strips. What I got is I got 8 of the short ones that I need 12, but I've got 14, or no, I got 16 of these long ones. So between them, I've got the 24 that I need. And then I've got 7 that are less than, this was what the middle cut. What all of these are smooth on one side, either through the planer or the sander, and then the bandsaw on one side. So I have to run these through the drum sander to get them down all even. It's not critical that it's 1/8 of an inch, but all 4 segments that I make have to be the same thickness, because they're going to have the same inner circle, of course, because of the form, but the outside's got to be the same so they match up. So whatever combination, these all have to end up, I need 4 sets that are the same. And then I've got 4 of the glued up ones as emergency backup. So I'm going to start running these through the sander, and some of them are bound to be a little thinner than others, and I'm going to kind of separate them in stacks of 4 so that I end up with a set that's somewhere close to 3/4 of an inch, but exactly the same on all 4 sets, if that makes sense. So this is just going to be time consuming running it through the drum sander. I won't take up video time with that. We'll get back to you when this is all done. All right, got them all sanded down to 1/8 of an inch. So I got 4 stacks of 3/4 inch, or 6 slices, so the total is 3/4 inch. And I've arranged them so that the grain is similar on every one that's going to be on the top, which is what's showing. So I had to rearrange a little bit, but I've got them all set. So now we're ready to start gluing. Well, you see, it turned out pretty good. There's the edge. Of course, I still have to clean that up. Actually, we've got to take 1/4 inch off of this in total. But as you can see, that we just have to do that 3 more times. And I used the PVA glue because that's what I had. But also, this is all going to be supported to the frame, or screwed to the frame, so I'm not worried about any creep. PVA glues are not rock solid. They'll creep, so this will try to straighten out. In fact, it's probably not even the same as the one right now. Yeah, see, there's just a little bit, whoops, a little over 1/8 of an inch at the end where it's kind of spread out. But that's typical with the PVA glues. So let's see, urea, formaldehyde, something like that, that glue drives rigid, and you don't get that spring back. But I didn't have any, and since this is all going to be supported by the frame, we're not worried about it being a little bigger than it should be. So, like I said, we could do that 3 more times, and then I will start working on the refining the brackets in between the times here. I let this sit for 48 hours just because I was not in the shop all day yesterday, so that makes sure it's really dry. So we may do that on the others, just give me more time to finish the brackets. Well, I think that should probably do it for this video. Well, I'm going to finish doing the cleanup on these guys, and I went ahead. I got some other little miscellaneous things to do. I went ahead and put screw holes in the bun feet, so I won't glue these on. I'll just screw them on so they can be easily replaced. So I did that with all 4 of the feet. I'm going to make a 5th foot to go under the center of the pedestal, just so that it won't sag at all. I mean, we're not gonna carve them. I'll just make a cylinder with the peg, and that way we can be sure it'll stay straight over time. It's going to have a lot of weight on the dead center of it, so we'll do that. So we got these little things to finish up, and we're still gluing the apron. So by the end of the week, we should have all that done. And so next episode, we can start on the good stuff, start actually making the mechanism for the expanding table part of this thing. And this is my 100th video on YouTube. It's hard for me to believe. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you know anybody else interested in this kind of stuff, just let them know. And until next time, we'll see you later.